Welcome to My Money Movement, a guide to financial freedom. On today's episode, I discuss personal finances with my guest, Chelsea.
Hello.
And Chelsea is looking to rebuild her financial health. And on today's episode, we will discuss a financial game plan that will be the foundation for building the life you deserve. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to talk with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're very
excited
welcome.
to be here.
Awesome. Well, if you wouldn't mind, start by just introducing yourself, tell the world a little bit about who you are, and we'll go from there.
Okay. I'm Chelsea. I grew up here, native to Colorado. Love this area. I have been a performer, musician, creative, entertainer for many, many years. And I'm getting into real estate now. So
Exciting.
It's very, very exciting. I'm excited to be on the show. It's great to have some more publicity always. But yeah, over the years, in the last 10 years, Colorado has changed a lot. The demographics are totally different than from when my parents grew up here. I've realized I have to come up with a better plan because there's no way that I can afford to stay here and thrive and build my family. I have a daughter. She's 5. And I have to build some sort of a foundation for her, and working minimum wage jobs, working seasonally, doing a lot of gig work over the years, starting different businesses. Things are starting to pick up and there's a lot of opportunity, but to get rid of this looming debt that I have is a number one goal. Yeah. It's a number one goal. Start saving for college for my daughter, and buying a house, getting into home ownership, getting into real estate. I mean, there's big goals that are there. So building a strong foundation, that's why I'm here.
It all starts with goals.
Glad to be here.
That was one of the questions I wanted to talk to you about. So I love that you kind of started with that, because having your goals can help set you up for success. And part of how we achieve goals is having a plan.
Yes.
Which at kind of towards the end of this episode, I'm going to outline my plan for you.
Okay.
And I'm very excited to get to that point.
I'm interested to see what you've come up with because I am quite a planner. I was thinking on my way over here, I was like, oh my God, I forgot my notebook. What am I doing after this?
Yeah.
But it's great to be able to have some things lined out, have something to look at every day. Something to just have in mind first thing when you wake up, right when you go to bed. It's one thing to think about, oh, I want to buy this house or I want to buy this car or whatever, versus how do I manage my time and my money in a way that makes sense.
How do you get there one step at a time?
Oh my gosh, I just had to let go of this wonderful bar back position at a really cool brewery because it was an hour away. I was spending more money on gas than I was making to go there. I was getting ready to call my boss to ask her for gas money. I'm this just doesn't make sense.
And what the cool part about financial freedom is once you get there, you have the luxury to be able to do things like that. Because if you're breaking even and that time is time you enjoy, you have the freedom to do that. So I'm excited to see you on your journey. You are on your way there. Your situation is not that bad.
You keep telling me that. You keep telling me that, but the pit in my stomach tells me otherwise.
Yeah, and you're going to feel that way because it's what you've had to deal with over the course of several years, and you've slept on it every night, and you've had to think about it. So that will weigh on you. That's normal. I've been in a situation where I have had more debt than this, and it's possible.
That makes me feel so much better.
You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay.
Okay.
So what are you doing for work right now? You mentioned you do gigs. What's kind of your primary...
Things are getting very interesting, okay? I'm always up to something. So I just finished up my coursework for my licensing for my real estate license. And I, on Monday morning, have a meeting with IECRM, International Electrical Contractor Rocky Mountain Association, to start...
That's a mouthful.
...apprenticeship for an electrical journeyman license. Yes. Which...
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the next piece because I'm like, okay, real estate is one thing, getting my license is another, getting, like passing that test is a huge test. This electrical licensing exam is going to be,
Yes.
kind of on par with that.
Really important.
But with the real estate, you're bringing in commission. You're not really, unless I go work for somewhere like, Remax or some of these other smaller property management groups, I'm going to make a small base pay, maybe some commission, but all of that, it's just like, doesn't make sense if I'm starting my own contracting construction company. Why would I not have licensure in some sort of a trade? It's the one trade that I don't know everything about. And to be a master in something, as a woman, to be able to be in that industry, like, you have to know your stuff. Just anybody, like, guys can bullshit their way through things, though, when they're in that environment with other gentlemen. So I'm excited to.
It's definitely a male-dominated industry.
Jump into that, yeah.
And you got a good head on your shoulders, so you can do anything you want to do.
Right.
For you, it's just going to be kind of deciding
and
how that integrates into your final vision.
Yes, exactly. And that's why I'm thinking, like, going with the licensure route, at least I can learn and earn at the same time.
Yeah.
Bring in some serious
How much
money.
are they paying you?
I think to start, it starts between 15 and 20, depending on experience, which is nice. I mean, we're talking minimum wage, whatever, for training. Yeah. And I have to get up to 2,000 hours in a couple years. I think the overall is 6,000 hours to get the licensure. So they want you to go through school for like 4 years at a time, have your apprenticeship.
Do you have to pay anything to be a part of that?
Not if you work for a company that will sponsor you.
And that's what you have done?
That's what I am working on.
Sick.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes,
Congrats.
that's exactly what I'm working on. I have a couple different directions I'm exploring. I'm like fine tuning it, figuring out like what is going to be the best to streamline the process. So it's been really nice. The business owners that I have met with have just been straight up like, no, you need to go for a bigger company. You're going to get the best training, like figure out CAD, figure out programming, those kinds of things.
So the vision, so you're started your journeyman apprenticeship.
I start on Monday.
Start on Monday. Congrats. That's exciting.
Start on Monday.
And then how much time is that going to be? Is that full time?
It'll be full time. So my real estate licensure coursework was 168 hours. I took off work for the last year and just worked part-time, tried to take on a couple full-time positions, but with the holidays and still going through those course loads, even though it was online, I wasn't actually in school. I was sitting at my computer for 8 hours a day. Yeah,
right. Super busy.
Soaking it in, just totally absorbing it. So I think, full-time, actually working, getting the hands-on training, going to school once a week at night. It'll
Great. Great. And then... So you're still planning on pursuing real estate, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, I have a few different firms that I've been talking to.
Wonderful.
Sadly, I just lost a mentor of mine that I've been working with for the last year and a half. Lori.
I'm
she
so
was
sorry.
with Kenna Real Estate. She was such a sweet woman. Thank you. It was like her time. She was such a badass. She ran a dog rescue. She did real estate. She helped so many people. She had her career here in Colorado for like the last 40 years. Wow. She helped people buy their first home and then buy their retirement home and everything in between. So she was a huge inspiration, just a wonderful, wonderful person. And I got the call. I was actually with my grandmother when I got the call. And she left, grandbabies and a beautiful family, and it was a heartbreaking, to hear the news, but at the same time she was so dedicated to what she was doing and to her, like, I wouldn't even call it a career. That was just her life. She was on the phone working a transaction while she was at the ER. I'm just like, okay, this woman, she was totally dedicated to her craft. So I went back to the firm, to Kenna Real Estate, a couple weeks ago, talked to some of the agents, talked to the managing broker. I'm working through the application process because obviously I have to get licensed first, pass my test, do that. But it seems like it's going to be a really good fit, so we'll see what happens.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, what a blessing to have just the amount of time you've been able to be with her, what a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so unfortunate that their
one
time
of
came.
those relationships too, to where you call someone on a weekly basis just because you enjoy having a conversation with them, and they're so empowering and just like motivating, just sharing the stories of their lives and their deals that they're working on and the people that they're meeting. So
I love the way you talk about her, because that's how I hope
love
you are when you're in that business, and I hope that's who
Yeah.
you can be to other people.
Yeah.
Because it's all about surrounding yourself with good people who uplift each other. And I do real estate photography, and some agents don't operate with that mentality, and they're lonely and they're not happy. So if you can surround yourself with more people like that, I'm just so excited for what you can do.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So
It's a
when are you
blessing.
going to take your test?
Oh my God, that's the big question. So I have right now, all of my coursework is done. I'm finishing up like a few little pieces of homework, and then I test. So basically, I have access to all of the information for my classes until December 19th. My
Okay.
goal is to test at least a week before Thanksgiving, so mid-November. So in the next
Great.
couple weeks, basically, I'm
Great.
in the review portion of everything. I was
Okay.
thinking this morning, I was like, should I bring my binders and just like stack them up right here with all of my like
It's a lot of work.
notes and everything? It is. I keep looking at it now that I have a space to review. Like, wow, I really know this.
Come a long way.
It's a lot, yeah.
So cool.
That I've fed my psyche over the last year. So it's beautiful to see the process that I've gone through, and to know that other people have gone through that process as well. Like, you kind of like earn a little bit of a rank, getting a license. You know things that the common person might not actually understand. And now that I know that concept, it's even more motivating and important for me to share that information with other people that have been kept out of the loop. Because I remember 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I had no idea what I was doing. I've been a renter for 12 years now, and, was always just like, oh, I'm never going to buy a house because I don't make that much money. And obviously having a daughter, starting a family, it puts things into perspective. But then you have to try to solve the equation of how do you do that for yourself, and how have other people done it for themselves. So you get like just that much more involved in life. I think it's really opened me up to like the essence of life, what's behind the curtain,
I can see
a
a
way.
passion developing, because the way you talk about it is so I could just sit, and it's like reading a good book by a fireplace.
Good.
So I'm so excited for you to be passing that exam in a couple weeks. I would love to hear from you once you do that.
Absolutely.
Because
it's going to be
I'm gonna
everywhere.
be
I'm going to
excited
shout
for
it
you.
from the rooftops. I'm going to
Yeah.
put an ad in the Columbine Courier. That's our
Wonderful.
little like neighborhood newspaper. I was
Yeah.
front page when I graduated high school. I sang Bob Marley's 3 Little Birds a cappella at our graduation, and the music didn't work.
Oh,
So it was like
no.
a big deal because
Yeah.
it could have been really bad. But I'm going to put my ad in there. Like, that's
Do
a
it.
huge milestone, right?
Yes.
13 years later, here I am. This is what I'm doing.
Celebrate your wins.
Yes. And it's amazing, too, because I have been talking to people that I've come across, other women, men, whatever they are these days. I don't know. And people hear the passion that I am speaking with. Like, it's beautiful that you just said that, because there have been a few along the way that are like, oh, real estate, I've thought about that before. And I'm like, oh, yes, you could do it. And I'm starting to realize, like, I want to be a managing broker eventually. I want to have my own firm. I want to
Wonderful.
have a team. I want to build people up in that way, because the industry is changing a lot. Just like you said, there's some people that don't care. And the only way that things are going to get better is if there are people that care. We can help figure this out, because it can't just keep going the way that it's going.
Yeah. There's always going to be a place for high achievers and great people. So I'm excited for you to get to that point.
You're so
Cool.
You're just so
Sweet.
good. You're building me up. It feels great.
That's the
I
whole
love
point
it.
of today. because, again, your situation's not that bad. So
let's talk about the nitty
I want
gritty.
to confirm your current income level.
I don't even know. Oh, that's the other thing.
There we
I'm
go.
going to start singing on the radio.
Okay.
I just...
Okay. Wonderful.
So that's going to bring in some more income. Yeah.
That's great.
I got a new band that we're starting, so that's going to be fun. We're going to start to do some gigs. Maybe anywhere from like 1,000 to 2,000. It's really low right now. My bills are super low. I haven't really been focused on like getting stacks and stacks of money just because I've been like, what is my passion? I know how to make money. I know I can work 5 jobs. I know
you know how to hustle.
I know
and
how
now
to
it's
hustle.
how can your passions bring you income?
Yes, exactly.
And how much debt do you currently have?
Probably we talked.
Do you remember the number? I wrote it down. Yeah, $21,500.
Whew. Okay. I'm
Let's
gonna
just
write
let that
down.
sink in.
Wait, let me just like make it pretty so I can feel better about it.
So you're currently earning at the high range $24,000 a year, and you're raising a child, and you're trying to live. And boy, is that gonna be tough.
Yeah, it has been tough. I'll share a little something with you. I was living in the Walmart parking lot for a little while, out of my car, because it was summertime. And I was so fed up with paying rent to property management owners and crazy people that were just going to keep being crazy. I was like, fine, we'll just take the paddleboard, we'll get the tent, we're going to camp for the rest of the summer.
We're going to be homeless.
We're going to be homeless.
For 3 months.
Okay. And that's what we did. And, I mean, a few years ago, well, not a few now, she's 5, so like 6 or 7 years ago, I lived out of my car in Summit County. I worked up there. I snowboarded whenever I wanted. I made plenty of money. I did not pay rent because there's plenty of places to stay. I was turning over vacation rentals, so I could sleep in mansions if I wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, I mean...
There is a big difference between homeless by choice and being ineffective, like suffering from homelessness.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. I think that is
it's crazy.
It's something to look back on. And I'm just, again, excited to talk to you in a year so that we can look back on that.
Yeah, me too.
And see how far you've come.
I know.
Because homelessness is something that happens to so many people. And there are so many people that I've talked to who are on the brink. Literally one missed week of work away from losing everything.
Crazy because your whole life hinges on that. And then once that, like, straw breaks... Then you're like, okay, wait, I'm still alive. Like, okay, my body is still here. I still have my mind. Okay, like, okay, I have a little bit of a shelter. Like, what are we talking about here?
Back on our feet.
How do you get out of it? But at the same time, it was almost like I fell into the Matrix a little bit. You're like in between some cracks of
the society. Yeah.
You know, like and now they're even talking about it in the media of like the houseless versus the homed. What?
Yeah.
Really? So there's that.
The narrative's kind of evolving and changing. Yeah. Well, what I do not want for you is that you ever have to be homeless ever again.
Oh no,
whether
trust
it's
me.
by choice or not. I mean, you deserve to be secure and have a safe place to raise your child. And I see that for you, and you're going to be there. You know, you've already leveled up your living.
Yes.
And
totally 100%.
$21,500 is nothing in the grand scheme.
So, okay, it's funny because this is like about how much money I wanted to make by this time. So I went back to business school in January of last year and took a personal finance class and laid out a bunch of numbers. And I've done that over the years, I guess not in that sort of a format, but I've budgeted and had ideas and, you know, like had trajectories and goals and have met some of those goals, some of them not so much. I've had to scale back. But when I made this financial plan 18 months ago, this was the number that I was looking at as like, okay, I want to make this number.
And why was that? Because it will pay for your living expenses?
Ultimately, so that I would have enough for a down payment. Because I was in a similar situation to where I wasn't having to pay rent.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, how do I, do I take care of this debt, or do I hold on to this money and just put it into a deal?
Yeah. This is how much you wanted to save.
This is how much I wanted to save.
Yeah,
so
wonderful.
to see
Okay,
this
great.
number of like, this is what you need to spend.
Unfortunately, you went the wrong way.
Oh my God.
Instead of saving, you've kind of started to dig a little bit of a hole, and it happens.
Yeah.
Don't think anything bad about that, because from today forward, that is just something in the past, and we're building a plan to get out of it, and you're going to get there.
I love your manifestation,
It's-
like just the way that you're talking, because it is like,
How you perceive the
We're
world is
casting a
how
little
you're
spell
going to
here.
interact with it.
yeah.
So if you
yeah.
believe in with some of the things and momentum that you're building financially, there's nothing that can stop you. And paying off $21,000 of debt, easy. I think you can do it in a year.
I think so too.
And I'm excited to talk to you about that. So
6 months to a year is my goal.
really briefly,
Okay.
boom.
That I want 6
6
months.
months.
I
Let's
want it
go.
to be done, like
Yeah.
beginning of next summer.
I think you can do it.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I
we're
guess
gonna
so.
kind of detail out that so
Okay.
that we know you can do it.
Let's see the details.
Just
details
really
here.
briefly, can you just cover how this happened? Just like really kind of in a quick summary. How did you
Okay, quick
accrue
summary.
$21,000 of debt?
I avoided a shotgun wedding. That will be number one.
Mm-hmm.
Had a daughter. Lost my partner. Had to go to court. Had to pay for lawyers for the first time in my life. That was insane. Basically got sidelined from being able to work, so was totally financially dependent. That's a whole other conversation. And within all of that, went back to school and paid for it out of my own pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And then got into some really messed up rental situations. For the first time in my life, I've always done handshake deals. The people that I've lived with, I've always either known or we've had really solid contracts and just really solid boundaries up front of like, hey, we're not going to fuck each other over. Yeah. Period. That's not the case.
Not everyone operates like that.
Not everyone is like that. And it took the last 2 years. So I called off my wedding a couple of years ago. We were just going to go to the courthouse. I was like, no, I have to like have a wedding. We're not doing this like that. So then we separated, and I went and took my daughter and then lived on our own. Had some funny business propositions tied into the lease contract, and those got severed. So then there was a snowball effect, and hindsight, probably should have started kicking and screaming and fighting and calling lawyers at that point, but I just tried to deal with it the best that I could. Really opened my eyes to the corruption in the property management and like world of real estate and business law and estate law, and just blew the top off of all of that. So it's like learning the hard way. School of Hard Knocks, I'm getting into this business, so I guess I have to learn everything that's like not great about it first, so that I have first-hand account information.
Yeah. Well, we live and we learn.
Eyewitness. Yeah, exactly.
We live and we learn, and what I love about you is that you're not letting it stop you. Some people would hang on to that for the rest of their life, and I hope that... I
mean, at the end of the day, like, some people are really shitty. And doesn't mean I have to be shitty.
It doesn't mean you have to be.
It doesn't.
And that's the light that you bring to the world. And I'm excited for you. Again, this is just your past.
Yeah.
I appreciate you just kind of briefly talking about that, because it happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have a bad landlord, and sometimes you get evicted. And sometimes that was their plan all along.
The whole time. And that's what I realized. And especially with 2020, the way that like all of the rental assistance came out, and then you had all this shady stuff going on. And now they've actually developed a whole department, the Economic Defense Project in every 50 states, all offices at every capital across the nation because this is not, I'm not the only one that this has happened
People
to.
get preyed on.
Yeah.
And were there
and
any...
especially if it's going to knock me out of the market.
And
I'll show you a text that I have from one of these guys. One of these guys wants to put a bench warrant out because he's still claiming that I owe him $6,000.
It's just insanity.
Wait, what?
To me. And
What?
I want you to protect yourself because you're going to run into people in your life that try to take advantage of you.
Yeah.
And what separates those who rise above is just how they handle it. And again, just it's not that much debt. At the end of the day, I call it something, don't be offended, but I call it stupid tax.
I love that.
It's just something that you have to pay so that you can learn from it and you don't make that mistake again in the future. And I see that in you. You're not going to make that same mistake.
No, God.
But I hope that this conversation helps someone out there because it happens. Like,
hi, guys. Message in, comment, whatever we do here on the channel because you're not the only one. And it's embarrassing. It takes the gusto out. And I realized getting into the real estate industry, if this is happening to how many people are not able to get into a home and able to buy something? How many people are just taken out of the market because this is part of the business, right?
And what drives me nuts is the majority of your debt is from these BS evictions. It's not like, yes, you have some credit card debt, but it's $3,000.
Very
it's not
minimal.
that much.
Yeah.
And again, the plan I have for you is going to involve just paying this off because it doesn't need any more mind space.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Impact your life. So thank you so much for sharing that.
I'm glad I could
really
get
helpful.
it off my chest, honestly.
Yeah, and it's something to talk about.
Well, it's hard too because I've gone through the court process of it, and like when you're in the middle of that, it's so emotional. And obviously, you're getting evicted, so then you have
and it's
nowhere
the
to
first
go
time it's
or-
happened to you, and you're a normal person, so you don't feel like you should be.
Yeah. Well, and it
There's like a
snowballs. It
miscorrelation there.
affects the whole family. Like it affects everyone. You know.
And your rental history.
And your rental
credit.
history, which was perfect before, and now it's not. And I'm like, okay, what are we doing? So stupid tax.
Yeah, we're paying it.
Take care of the
Boom, we're going to
stupid
pay that
tax.
stupid tax.
Yeah.
And then you're going to build the life that allows you to help other people get homes, live where they want to live. I'm just excited for you. So the next question, do you feel like you have any free time right now?
I have to force myself to have free time. I consider this my free time.
Great. How much free time do you have?
Honestly, I very minimal. I really don't.
Yeah.
I really don't. My free time is my sleep time.
Sure. And moving forward, so you're going to have full time, so like 40 hours of journeyman.
40 hours or more
Training.
of journeyman training, and then I still work right now, just killing it at the club.
Yep.
Doing it.
How many hours are you at the club?
You know, probably at least 20 a week.
Yep. Okay, great. And
At
then
least.
how many hours do you need to dedicate to real estate?
At this point, that's a majority. I mean, at least 6 hours a day. That's pretty, 4 to 6 hours a day. See, we're already running out of time.
I don't know how you're doing any of that.
I know. Well, see, it overlaps, right? Because
It
when
overlaps,
when I'm working at the club,
do
I'm
some of that,
studying, I'm
Sure.
talking to people,
Yep.
I'm networking.
So let's say you're doing
know?
another 20 hours. So you got the whole 80 hours right there. Really to like max out, to push your body to the extreme.
Yeah.
It's like 100 hours.
Yeah,
So 80
totally.
hours is doable, but you got to be tired.
Because what is it in a week is like 160
Let's
something.
pull out your calculator. I would grab my phone's filming.
Because I know I read a book that had that in.
Well, you have to sleep too. It's 24
Yeah, you
times
do need to sleep.
24 times 7,
Okay, let's do this.
but it's really more like 16 times 7 if you're
So
gonna,
it is. I was right. It's 168 hours
wonderful.
per week.
What
so,
is 16 hours times 7?
Gosh, Alex would make so much fun of me right now. 112.
Perfect. So if you
16-hour days.
just worked and you slept 8 hours, assuming there's no time in between, you have over 100 hours that you can effectively do activities with your time.
Yeah.
But you're also raising a child.
Yeah.
And you have 80 hours, so that just gives 26 hours for your kid. So
Yeah.
it's just great to kind of understand where your time's going.
I love that.
And then one of the aspects of your plan is going to be how can we allocate time to the areas that bring the most income.
Yes.
And thanks for doing that with me, because what's funny, I used to be in elevated math classes, so like,
and we just had to use a
and I have
calculator
to
to
use a
do simple
calculator for everything
multiplication.
because I don't use any of that anymore.
I don't either.
It was something I loved doing, and now it's like, just grab a calculator.
Yeah, it's that simple. That's why I think there's a little bit of inside of me, like the challenge of getting the being a journeyman. It's like that stuff, those little tidbits of knowledge that you've let go of for so long, it does become very common practice. Like I have to do a math assessment that I'm
great
dreading.
to get back into it.
It is nice. I've been using Khan Academy, like free online courses, and just brushing up and remembering that I remember.
Yeah.
So
well, it just goes to show you can become financially free without having to be talented at math.
Yes.
Can you let me know what time it is right now? Okay.
We're at 9:51.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Sweet.
So the next question I want to ask you is, what would financial freedom mean to you?
Being able to wake up at 4 a.m. and take my dog on my paddleboard and go out on the lake.
Sick.
And, have my day to where the phone calls that I am having are making me money, like so that I can charge people for talking to me. Yeah. That's my goal, because I use my voice and have for so long. I think that is ultimately where I would like to be. And, and then we could like go on a vacation and know that all the bills are paid. I mean, it's not that much. And enjoy it. I want to be I am a business owner. I want to be a managing broker. I'd like to be a good landlord and a good property manager for people, right? Ultimately, having the time to like be able to come home and cook dinner and be with my family, and for us to not be stressed. That ultimately would be like the best financial freedom, of not having to worry about like, oh, this $250 bill came and insurance was supposed to cover it, and we know insurance is going to cover it, but it's $250, so we're going to stress about it right now. That whole, I hate that feeling. And I think I'm in this debt because honestly, I was just like, I'm not going to worry about money anymore. I'm just not going to worry about it because it's too much to worry about, and it'll just get figured out eventually, and I live in abundance and everything's just going to be fine.
It's really, really easy to take something that's really scary and to put it in a box. Because it's safe in the box. We don't have to think about it if it's in the box.
Especially if it's only my box. And then you want to talk to my golden child partner that has like the best credit ever and has a 401k and has all of this and has never financially struggled and has never been in any debt. For him to look at this number, he's like, oh my God, no, I'm not going to touch you with a 10-foot pole. Get over there. Go take care of your credit.
Well, that's an added layer too. Is that self-inflicted though? Do you think, is that how he actually...
That's definitely, that's exactly how it is. Like when you're dealing with people that have money and you don't, or there's some sort of a struggle, like you must not be responsible with money, or you must not know how to use it, or like whatever, there is a total stigma. Total stigma around that.
I would like to say one thing, because you're not alone.
It's crazy.
People who are in a tough financial situation, who struggle with money, just haven't been taught how to manage their money.
Thank you.
You're a product of your experiences. And if you haven't had someone who is good with money teach you how to be good with money, you're not going to be good with money. And the odds of you being good with money are so incredibly low. So don't beat yourself up.
And that's such a real thing, because I started to realize once I had my daughter, I mean, I realized it before when I was single, as a female, whatever, like we cost a lot of money to do all the things it does. Or you have to figure out how to do it by yourself, and then that takes time, whatever. I realized that I learned those habits from a place where two people had a relationship. Yes, both people were responsible for, the functionality of the household, but they use their money in different ways. And like your mom buys you gifts, you buy you a thing, and the thing, go out or whatever. And I didn't realize until I had my daughter, I was like, oh my God, this is a disaster. Like, why are we spending money like this? This is crazy. Why does she have 12 coats? Like, people, she doesn't need 5 car seats. Like, she's one kid. But I didn't know that until I went through it myself. And just like you said, it's a learned habit. I don't even, like, I can understand money, and yes, I can do spreadsheets, and I can do basic accounting, and I know how to work a budget. But at the end of the day, if you don't have habits in place that are going to steer you in a good direction, you're going to go off the rails.
Yeah. And the scary part about it is there's a huge machine working to try to get you to spend that money. Yep. And in their vision of the world, you're on the rails if you're going into debt. You're
great track.
Profiting them more money. So, I love the way you said that. I'm excited. I've said that so many times. I
have a question for you because I'm really excited too. So I'm looking at this number too because years ago, I got an offer for a loan to go to school.
Yes.
Okay. That was around this much money. Mm-hmm. And back then I was like, oh my God, I am not signing that paper. Your people are trying to just catch me up in something that I don't even want to be part of. And I didn't take it. And now I'm like, okay, I have this same amount of debt that I probably would have had if I took on that loan.
Sure. Yeah.
Whatever. But so moving forward, like, how do I pay this so that I can get a loan?
Yeah.
Right? Because ultimately that's the goal. Like, financing is the goal.
That is a great segue because let's talk about your plan.
And we have
about 10 minutes to go through it.
Good timing.
So the plan for you, Chelsea, number 1, level up your income.
Okay.
So you are spending your time in a lot of areas, some that bring you fulfillment, some that bring you income. We need to just narrow our focus because there is an opportunity in front of you to change your life. And that is what you're building and what you're working towards. You mentioned you have a goal of being a business owner and building this craft and helping people. And I'm so excited for you to get there, but you're going to have to sacrifice in the short term. And part of that sacrifice is potentially going to be giving up some of these things that bring you fulfillment that aren't paying you well.
Okay.
So think about that really critically because you're spending 80 hours a week right now doing several different jobs. And I want you, to spend some time with that and write down how much income each of those jobs is going to produce for you. Mm-hmm. And if it's worth spending your time
like on a week-to-week basis or something?
Or daily. Like daily however you want to draw it up. Ideally, you're figuring out how much per week those items are making you per hour of your time. And be really critical
we're getting
of that.
To brass tacks, all right.
Yeah, be really critical because
that's my homework?
That's your homework, yeah.
Okay.
That would be an exercise I'd love to do with you. If you need help with that, let me know.
I love that.
But it really helps you be really critical about where you're spending your time.
Per hour.
Because, yes, you may have an amazing opportunity to go do this radio gig, and maybe that is something that you should do. I'm not telling you not to, but you need to know your numbers. You have to know if I'm spending my time on this craft, is it returning money for me? Because right now we got to get out of debt as quickly as possible because once this debt's paid off, then you can do whatever you want. And you then can do all of these things and you don't have to be so critical. Okay. So that's what I want for you. And then I want to ask you, how much money do you think you need to earn to be debt-free in 1 year? Total salary.
I need to make at least 70 grand.
70 grand. Wonderful. You need to make $52,000 a year.
At least.
That's it.
Yeah. But 70 is my number.
70 is what you want to.
But I have 20 to be able to do the thing over there. I want you to think about that.
You think it's going to take 60. It's only going to take 50.
Only 52. Okay. So what is that? Oh, 52,000.
Yeah. So
it's 10 grand.
You're currently earning $20,000.
How much money
I have it written down right here. So you're currently earning $20,000, which is not enough to raise a child on, let alone live yourself.
We're just like skating by.
You're just skating by, but you're happy. You're living a good life.
Yeah.
Let's take that for what it is and be happy with that because money isn't everything.
Well, and I am hesitant to go to the flip side, the dark side of just work 100 hours a week.
Sure.
Because I've done that before.
And I don't think you need to.
Different.
My plan doesn't involve that.
Okay.
You're already working more than I would want you to. So
where's the money?
I know. So here we go. So you're earning $20,000, which is not enough to raise a child on. You need to focus all available energy into building your real estate brand.
Yes.
Your journeyman brand
That's why I'm here.
is also a wonderful craft. And I think I love what you're doing because you're hedging your bets. You have a guaranteed income with this journeyman structure.
100%.
Do that. Be fully invested because you can cover your living expenses. What's 20 times 40?
Gosh, we should be so much better.
I can do the
10
math. I
o'clock
just
in the
don't
morning.
care.
I
It's
don't
not a
care
big deal.
either. Okay.
20 times 40. Should be 800.
It is 800.
Yeah, wonderful. So 800. Now times that by 5.
Okay. 4,000. Did we do that right?
I did that wrong.
What? Okay, wait. Start over.
20 times 40, so 800.
Okay. Times 40 is
And then
800.
times 4.
Times 4.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here?
So
$3,200.
$3,200. That's how much money you're going to make a month.
A month.
With just the journeyman position.
Okay,
if they're paying you,
yes.
if they're paying you $20 an hour,
$20 an hour.
before taxes, you're going to be making that much money. You just doubled your income.
Yeah.
Boom.
Plus dragging my ass to the club and having a great time as often as possible.
We're going to talk about that.
Let's talk about it
this
because that's the only other thing in my mind that's like, okay, I have to keep going in that direction too. Keep all the irons in the fire.
Okay. Bear with me.
Okay,
Let's
tell
finish
me
this
the rest
thought and
of
then we're
your
going to circle
plan.
back. So
Circle
right
back.
there,
Okay.
you already doubled your income just doing this one thing. I'm so stoked for you. Continue on that path. Don't give up. It may be challenging.
No, it's gonna be
Stick
fun.
with it because overnight next week you're going to be doubling your income and you're going to be
that's like wait. That's the number we were talking about. That's okay, so that's 38,000.
almost $40,000
Okay.
a year, which is so exciting.
But I need to get to 52.
If you want to pay your debt off in 1 year.
Oh boy, 6 months.
Yeah, so even more.
Okay.
So
Okay.
and
No,
then
this
too
is good.
with the real estate portion, and I just want to help shape this so you know and are excited where you're spending your time. So the real estate portion, so I did a little bit of research just on some like high level topics. So the average salary in Denver is $82,000 for a real estate agent. Obviously there's time
good.
invested. Right.
Good.
Yeah, obviously there's time involved. You're going to be great. So let's not even put out into the world that you're not going to be, which is $6,800 a month.
Okay.
The average commission on a $500,000 home, which that's approximately what the average home is selling for, is between $10,000 and $15,000.
Oh God, I'm so ready.
So you
ready.
literally are
A few commissions.
you're just a
few
like
deals
literally
away.
1 to 4 commissions depending on the house away from not only paying off all of your debt but living the life you want and having all of the time that you want.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Like it's no like I want to
This is
I just
real.
want you to realize that.
No,
like,
this is real.
In investing all of this time learning, all of the hours doing the accreditation, passing these exam, actually knowing the information and being a great real estate agent, you're going to crush it. It might take a while for you to get that first deal, which is why I love you're going to be spending your time on the journeyman so you have guaranteed income in the short term.
Yeah.
And then once you're building that real estate portfolio, you may be able to shift more time into that
Yeah.
and just level up from there because you're not that far away. Like you could do this in 6 months if you're working the journeyman position and then on the weekends you're selling homes and you make 2 deals.
Yeah.
You're at like 80 grand right there.
Oh my God.
Assuming the deal's worth 20 grand each. So maybe
least.
4 deals. Let's say you make $10,000 on 4 deals. That's $40,000
Yeah.
plus the $40K that you're earning from the journeyman school.
That's 80 grand.
There's your 80 grand.
Okay, there it is.
There
That's
it
how
is. That's how easy it is.
It seems so much more attainable when you break it down into just like line by line ideas, trajectory.
Yeah,
Wow.
it is.
You're like a magician.
I'm not. I'm actually not that intelligent.
You
All I
are
do
like
is
a
I craft a
magician.
narrative that allows you to see things that you're not seeing right now. And you mentioned you still...
I'm going to cry. Like I needed this so bad.
I'm so happy for you. Those
my
tears of
gosh.
joy are earned, and you took the first step to get there. So I'm stoked for you. But one thing I really want you to think about and realize is that this club activity, these other things that do
All the
bring you
things, yeah.
fulfillment, they're not going to get you there as quickly
Right.
as these other two main areas. So if I were in your shoes, I would be focusing all my available free time when I'm not doing the journeyman on real estate.
Yeah.
And I would be building relationships. I would be networking. I would be setting and planting the seeds that are then going to come to fruition, because if you do that over the course of 6 months, you will start closing deals.
Oh, yeah.
And you find more mentors you can do apprenticeships with in the real estate who will pay you money to help close their deals.
Yeah.
It's life-changing. So I want you to really take that home and
Okay.
think about it, because yes, these are things that you enjoy, but
They're the get by, the fill in time.
But you don't need 'em now. You don't
I'm
need
on
'em.
the other side.
you've found a position that doubled your income. You don't have to
Yeah.
work 5 jobs anymore. You can work one core job, dedicate all of your time and energy to it, and now you have some free time for your child.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Disney World.
Let's go.
Let's go to Disney World.
Oh, I'm so happy
In
for you.
Sarasota, that's where the mermaids are. There's a real mermaid island in Sarasota where you can swim with mermaids and dolphins.
That's so sweet.
Could you imagine?
You're going to have to send me a photo of the mermaids.
Yeah, we're gonna go swim with mermaids.
Can you confirm the time just one more time for me?
Yes, it's
Okay,
10:07.
perfect. Yep, we're doing just fine.
Cool.
Okay, so
That's a great plan. This honestly, I have never sat down with another person before. Like I have pages and pages in my notebooks that are like numbers like this and little equations and like, okay,
Yeah.
if I do this here and then this here and then I've never sat down with another person. I've never had it so blatantly projected to me that like, hey, these are real numbers. What are you doing? Just focus. Do this.
Yeah.
You know, even though I know that's what I'm doing, obviously, but to have like witness someone else see it for the reality that it is. Thank you.
you're welcome.
I appreciate that.
I have been blessed to have people do this for me in my life, and it has been so impactful, which is why I'm just trying to pass some of that along to you.
Cool.
And I know you're going to be able to pass that along to somebody else.
Absolutely.
One thing I wanted to offer you,
Yes.
because when you pass your real estate exam, I would like to do free headshots for you
I would love that.
to get you going.
Thank you.
very welcome.
That's so sweet.
So please let me know once you pass that exam in a couple
will.
weeks.
I will.
We'll schedule it. Either we'll meet here or we'll meet somewhere else, and we'll do a headshot session.
That would be so cool.
That way you can start building that real estate brand.
I actually have a whole shoot planned out in my brain.
Okay, we'll talk about it. Let's talk about it
Yeah.
after this.
Okay, cool.
Wonderful. Number 2,
Number 2.
and we have to go really quick.
Headshots, number 2.
Then number 3. No.
Okay.
Number 2. So headshots part of number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, you must start budgeting monthly.
Okay.
You got to start doing it. And we don't have enough time today to cover it, but I printed off
got me a
6-month budget planners. And
I
for
love it.
anyone who's watching, this is available for free on mymoneymovement.com. It is a great resource, and it is the toolkit or a tool in the toolkit that helps you stay on track.
I
And
love
it's
toolkits.
if you want to talk through that over the phone or after this, we can
Let's
do that.
just do another episode.
We could do that as well.
That would be fun.
But yeah, so you're doing your monthly budget.
Okay.
Involves a few key things, but it's really simple.
This is nice.
And the most important part of the budget,
Broken down.
the most important part,
Income?
nope,
What?
is just doing it
Just doing it.
and doing it every month, because it'll help you keep on track.
Okay.
And as you start increasing your income,
6 months.
you're gonna want to start to spend that money,
Oh,
and
trust me.
this is gonna help keep you on track.
Okay.
So you have 6 months there.
Okay.
You know, again, it's something for free you can download and then print
That's awesome.
on your own. And then number 3 is your debt payoff. I'm not going to go as granular into this, but essentially you're currently earning $2,000 a month. If you can
Yes.
build your income to $52,000, which we've just clarified is very attainable for you, you can pay all of your debt off in 1 year. And how you're going to do that is $52,000 after taxes is $41,346 or $3,446 a month. You don't have to write that down. It doesn't matter too much.
No, I
And
love numbers.
I'll send this to you.
Okay.
But meaning that if your cost of living stays at $1,600 a month,
yeah.
you'll have an additional $1,806 per month to pay down your debts.
Okay.
Which
so
means if you paid
least
that,
contribute that.
yeah,
Much
you want to
overall.
maintain your living expenses to the lowest degree as possible, so every dollar can go to pay off your debt. And if you pay $1,800 every month for 12 months, that's $22,000.
12 months. Okay, so if I can get it up to 4, then it's 6 months. Okay.
You can go, yeah, you can do it even quicker.
I like the fast track.
Yeah, and I think you can get there, but this is how I build it out is always just 1 year, unless the situation's really tough and it is going to take more years. You can, there's 2 ways to make this go quicker. Either lower your living expenses
Which is
or
what I'm
increase your
doing.
income, which is the quickest
And
way
what
to
I'm
do
doing,
it. Yeah,
right,
which is
okay.
what you're doing.
So I'm doing plus on both sides.
Yeah.
We're going to have a charge here. All
Exactly.
right.
You're going to get there even faster.
I wanna
So I'm so happy for you.
I want to make an electrical joke right now, but I'm not going to because I don't know what I'm talking about.
We'll save that for the 6-month
We'll
follow-up.
wait. I'll have it
Yeah.
by then.
So the very last question I'm going to ask you is, what are you willing to sacrifice for financial freedom?
Well, everything. I mean,
Great.
I have, like, I don't go out. Well, I'm not going to lie. We went out last weekend, did karaoke. It was
don't
really
go out.
fun. We
went out
didn't
one time.
spend any money.
that's
We
okay.
spent gas. So that was one thing. That's something that I've honed back a lot and just like totally being a homebody, staying focused on my studies, staying focused on marketing, staying focused on doing research, like staying focused in that. Obviously, sometimes you need a break. But, you know, I feel like I've sacrificed pretty well with that. I'm a very social
Yes,
person, so I have to like feed my soul somehow. But I probably like going out to eat, honestly, and buying dumb things.
Yeah.
Like spending $20 at the gas station on something stupid that's not gas, you know?
Great.
I mean, I've already quit smoking cigarettes, so that was
That's
really
great.
good.
That's
I'm
a huge
spending
accomplishment.
a lot of money on those stupid little vape things, and I finally got one that works. That hasn't broke. Those cheap, you know, having those kind of good habits, obviously, like that's kind of a no-brainer. But I've seen the money stay in my wallet.
That's great.
You know,
And
just
you
from
answered it
doing
right
that.
away. You said everything.
Yeah.
And the reason why I asked that question at the end is because if you were not willing
ready.
or you were hesitant,
Yeah,
we would need to have another conversation.
I
But
would
the
need
fact
to
that
come to Jesus.
you are ready and you are on your way, and we have a plan laid out that's going to get you there in 6 months.
6 months. Okay,
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Give me a high five.
You're so great,
Chelsea,
Travis.
you're going to
This
kick
is
butt.
awesome.
I'm so excited for you. Chelsea, by being here today, you have taken the first step on your way to financial freedom. You are taking ownership of your finances, and in doing so, I am confident you will succeed. You deserve to build the life you want for you and your family. I am thrilled to welcome you to my growing family of money movers.
Yay.
And if you are struggling with debt and are in need of help, please subscribe to My Money Movement, a guide to financial freedom. Thanks for being here and welcome to the family. And if you want to be a money mover like Chelsea, please visit mymoneymovement.com for free resources to help you get out of debt and into the life you deserve.